I'm Michelle Ryder, editor of Print IT Reseller. In this video series with Epson, we explore how resellers are utilising decades of industry expertise to optimise the new balanced deployment of print. We look at some of the key challenges facing both dealers and vendors, including the increasing accountability businesses are taking for the environment. So joining me today is George Baker, Managing Director at KRL Group. George, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you, Michelle.
So George, let's begin with considering to what extent are changing customer requirements driving change in terms of how print fleets are proposed, deployed and optimised on an ongoing basis?
Change is coming vastly, mainly because of where we are in the moment with the planet and the fact of the heat-free situation with Epson. Most of our customers now are looking to move on to carbon footprint saving. And it's now becoming more and more when we go to see people, when we start talking about what we can save them as far as power and about the carbon footprint, things like that people are actually lighting up now when we actually see them and talk to them, where in the past it's always been a little bit like, you come to see me about a copier. Not really a sexy thing, and it's not really something that anybody wants to talk about. But now that there's a saving, you get FDs and you get directors and managing directors. As soon as you start talking to them about how we can save them money on fuel, and we know the cost of them at the moment and how expensive it is, that is the big thing that is changing at the moment in time.
So the customer, the purchasing power has shifted, I think, from what you're saying, that the FD is now involved rather than, I suppose it would have been an office manager in the past.
It was the office manager, it was the IT manager, but now you've got this cost effectiveness that people are trying to save money, and the FD is the one that's got the big tag on him to try and save that. So
George, how do you ensure that customers benefit from a balanced deployment of print devices, providing the optimal balance between A4 and A3 devices, for example?
We at KRL is a little bit different to what a lot of the resellers are. I think it's because, number one, is the ethos of the business. Secondly, is about the fact is that we've always listened to our customers. And what we tend to do is listen to what they're wanting, and then we start to advise. And that's where we can say, have you thought about going to the A4 product rather than the A3? You can save space. Obviously, you can save power. And just then balance that requirement that they have, but not by telling, but by advising.
So climate change has become an increasingly pressing issue, and businesses are quite rightly taking steps to reduce their carbon footprint and environmental impact. To what extent is this impacting discussions and indeed decision-making around printers?
What we're finding is that the discussion is starting with the younger people that's working for these companies. One or two of the larger companies that we've been dealing with, when we've discussed the Epson product and what it can do, they've come back at us and said they have this request from the younger people that work for them on what is going to happen to save the planet for them and their children to come in the future. So it's a driven really by the younger people within the organisation. So that's the way that it starts off, and then we just develop on that one.
Interesting. So I think what you're saying is that customers are actually now proactively asking for more information on the environmental impact of the print solutions they're looking at. And actually the decision making has been driven by the younger people coming into the business.
Correct. It's a very passionate subject, and which has been driven to board members due to the youngsters that are coming through the ranks.
You've already said that the customers are now proactively asking you for information on the environmental impact. You're not driving that conversation anymore. So to what, in terms of tools like the Epson optimization tool, for example, is that helping you sort of win and seal deals because you're actively demonstrating?
That's helping immensely. And I'm sure that the company won't mind me saying, but one company that I've just sold to recently, they, when we did the optimisation tool, it showed that the money they were saving over the 5-year term of the lease actually paid for the machine.
Interesting.
So that was like the no-brainer. It was sold, and that was it. It was, they didn't even want to talk anymore about to anybody else or anything. They just went with that product and us.
Brilliant. George, thank you. It's been a really interesting conversation. I think the key takeaway for me is the fact that sustainability is driving conversations now and driving change, which is good to hear. It's good to hear.
It is.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.